What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TCGU University's UnIVersus podcast.
UnIVersus Study Hall.
Yeah. Today I'm joined with...
Josh.
It's Jeff.
And Michael, miraculously.
Michael's back from the grave. And I'm James. So before we get started, we'll go into a little housekeeping. Make sure to support us and check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, all under TCG University. Make sure to check out our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and all those. Give us 5 stars. If there's a podcast service we're not on, make sure to just let us know. We'll get it out there. Thank you to all our junior hire sponsors: Andrew Dang, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jerome Weeks Jr., Justin Farce, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Lucinda Letica, Paul Casagrande, Samantha Stevens, Teodoro Ruiz, Tyler Zane Pease. Shout out to you guys. And then our other sponsors, Cards Custom Build and Ink Gaming. We'll talk about those later during the ad break. So we already went through it sort of in the pre-show, but how are you guys?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
I'm doing all right. You know, I haven't.
You've been dead for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be back on the podcast?
More like 2 months.
How's it feel to be on the podcast?
I'm alive again, and all of a sudden there's a virus all over the place. So
you're about to die again?
I probably
no,
with
it's
me.
over.
And how's it feel to be on your first podcast, Josh?
It's
good. I think it'll be fun.
You think you're going to have a fun time?
Yeah, should be
Solid.
I'm glad you're here.
good. I've been watching for a while, so, you know.
You got the feel for it already?
I think I get the
Miss
idea.
Valley Watcher.
It doesn't look too hard, right? And then, as you can see, Tam's out of the house. And they, well, actually, he's behind that desk over there. But he's not on the podcast, so I get to do whatever I want.
Oh, boy.
It probably won't end up like that. We'll probably have to stay, like, directed on schedule. We'll be sitting here for, like, 2.5 hours.
We're playing bowling with bumpers,
already-
ladies and gentlemen.
It's already gonna be real rough. Okay, so first topic today is brought to us by Jay Rogers. He messaged me the other night, gave me an idea for the podcast. He said, COVID-19 and how it'll influence UnIVersus. For everyone who doesn't know what COVID-19 is, it's just coronavirus. How the coronavirus is going to influence our competitive season this year. How are you guys feeling about it?
Everything's canceled. I'm sorry. It's just
UnIVersus. Nothing UnIVersus wise has been canceled.
No, I'm really surprised that that dang, shout outs to you. I hope you keep everyone safe there, but like I'm super glad that you got that PTC running still. Like,
dude, I want to go. If the flights were cheap enough.
When is that?
dude, it's literally $140. It's
Is
next
it? I could
weekend.
not find one
It's
for
next
140.
weekend.
I could not find one.
Yeah,
for
dude, I
140.
saw one for $137. We'd have to come back on like a Tuesday, but
Dude.
or no, I think we had to leave on Sunday. You had to leave on Sunday, so you can't stop cut. You just have to, or you can, but you have to lose the first round.
We gotta hope they all finish it on a Saturday. We just one long night and then we're all out. No coming back.
So no, you leave on a Sunday and you don't get home until Monday. That was what it was.
Gross. Oh, like an 18-hour layover.
Yeah. But
Dang.
it was $140.
Yeah, when I was looking, they were like $340, and I was like,
To sit in a germ-riddled airport for 18 hours. Ooh.
No, it'll be an empty airport.
yeah, there's gonna be no one there.
Yeah.
I heard there's a lot of delays too,
Everyone will
like they're going into like making sure no one has coronavirus.
I mean,
before
that's,
we get on the plane.
thank God, because I'm getting on a plane in 2 weeks, and I hope it's safe. I'm gonna try and find a mask.
You
I
might
think.
have. You also might have to get. You might have,
Fun fact: masks actually just don't do anything.
they're better for when you already have it than rather when you don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Good to know.
Fun fact.
I don't want to wear because I didn't want to wear one, but I was like, if it'll help, I'm
The
down.
worst part is just like touching your face.
It doesn't help. Yeah, I do like a lot of face touching, so it sucks. But
I hate it. I have sinuses and I work in service industry. So like anytime I like get like an itch on my nose, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna start to panic. Oh no, everyone's gonna freak out.
oh my god, he touched his face.
Oh my god, this remember.
I'm gonna
So
sneeze.
I was at work yesterday. My coworker showed me this video. It's about this lady that is at a checkout line in a grocery store, and the the cashier like touches his face. She flips out. She's like, "You have to wash your hands." He's like, "I can't. There's no like, I can't do that." So, but he's like, "I do have some like sanitizer. Is that okay?" And she's like, "All right, that's fine." And then she proceeds. Get this. She proceeds to just use the fucking the
Card reader?
terminal that
Yeah.
has not been cleaned for like guaranteed hasn't been cleaned.
I can guarantee you, at my work, we've cleaned they clean them every single day. Like, it's
we
every single
clean
day.
ours, but like you can't just assume that out of
Oh,
every
no,
business.
definitely not.
Like
Like we for like the last week have had somebody just designated to just cleaning everything, just from top down, and then once you're done, go back and do it again.
it's just so funny
It's
that like
just-
she flipped out that he touched his face, and then she just
that
touched
was
like
one
the
of things
dirtiest thing there.
That's one
Like
of the things I was laughing about at work too. Is just like, I know, like you're about to give me cash that everyone's been touching for like the last millennia. Like, it's gonna have so much germs on there, and like you're just gonna hand it to me. I don't want that. But shout out to Andrew
dude, shout
Dang
outs.
for being
Yeah,
able to
for
keep
sure.
this up and running. My question is, how long do you think the wait is going to be before they start canceling events? Not like when they'll start just canceling all events. Like what's the time frame before an event before they cancel it?
I
in my
don't
opinion,
think it's before an event. I think they like cancel everything now, and then
Just
once things clear
reschedule?
up, maybe it's uncanceled.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I just know Jasco has a rough history of giving heads up on things. So like I'm not 100% on board of whether or not they'll get to the whole oh dude, we're 2 weeks out, we're 2 days out. We're canceling this event. It's a little too dangerous. Like,
Well, okay, so the thing, this is the way I think about it. So you've got the one next weekend, you said,
Yeah,
and then when's the next like PTC?
next month
it's late.
Like
next
late
month,
in the
right?
month?
probably.
I
This is March, so
personally,
April. Yeah, I think it's like
my
April 20th.
thought
Something.
that's going to be far enough out that
Hopefully
the
this blows
wave
over.
we're going to be over the hump, and that'll be fine. So I think that's what I think. I don't think it will affect anything except maybe this one right here that's coming up.
I'm
but
hoping
then,
they get out in front of this.
Yeah, I mean, how many people are expected to show up? Like, how big of an event?
20.
Yeah,
See,
maybe
that's-
30.
I don't feel like that's even a big enough event to cancel it,
That's
right?
true.
Like, I
That's
come from
true.
like the fighting game community, right?
Yeah.
And a
Yeah,
lot of those
big.
events are getting canceled, but those are
Those
several
of those
hundred
people.
people. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, we just saw a post where they're like, Chicago made it like one of the Chicago posts. We're talking about how like they're just shutting down bars and everything. Like by like Monday, no dine in.
right.
Like if they just do that for every like public greeting place that isn't just like a service industry, like a direct needs service industry, like grocery store, gas station, like only things that are allowed to be open super late.
Right.
Like it just
yeah, I
they
think
just start shutting everything down.
I think, like I said, my personal opinion is this one coming up that one should be maybe considered. Somebody's thinking about it.
I think they should
somewhere.
have already said something. if they
But
wanted to.
well, maybe. But I think late April. I think the concern. I mean, hope. Maybe I'm too hopeful. But I think that late, the concern is going to be past. That a 20-person event isn't something that.
That
you
was
need
that
to
was one of the
worry
jokes
that
we were
much
joking about when people started like White Sports was one of the first events I heard that got canceled, and like Final Fantasy, and then like Magic, because we run all these podcasts and we keep up on some of those, and they talk about it in their podcasts, obviously. But like one of the things we were talking about was just like we don't have to worry about that. 20 people are gonna show up for our event.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about a 100-person rule.
Right. Right.
I think every other game has canceled something. Yu-Gi-Oh has,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Pokemon has.
Yu-Gi-Oh canceled all their regionals and their European nationals tournament
For how long? Like
indefinitely.
Everything I've heard so far is just indefinitely until they have like actual results or dates.
Because I want to believe, right? I want to believe by end of April that we're through this, but there's just no no data to say
there's
that we
nothing at
will.
all.
Like,
There's only speculation on, hey, we have this cure, but we still need to test it.
Yeah.
Which to me just says we have an idea that could work, but we don't know. Like maybe,
No, I think
maybe we'll end up I Am Legend.
I think it'll be fine. From like what I've read is that like 97% of cases, 97% of cases get cured anyways.
They're mild. Yeah.
But I think Jessica just kind of shot themselves in the foot because like they have month-based promos, and so like if they cancel events and push events back, then at some point you're gonna have like.
Yeah,
like let's say Rockford was before Omaha, and it has to get pushed back, and now all of a sudden it's the month of the Omaha or the Omaha PTC, and like everything's open again, and then you push back the Rockford PTC. It's just like you like.
Hey Tam, can you do me a favor? Can you pull up Robot Masters, the new promo?
Yeah, you just kind of like shoot yourself in the foot with
I want
like
to see if that says
pre-planning things
DLC
like this.
or if that says.
So that's why I don't think that they're going to
I think
cancel.
it does.
I want to see. I
don't
want to see
think
what
they'll cancel
watermark it
anything.
has.
I think it does.
Because if it has, depending on when like they get like how far this gets pushed back, RoboMasters might rotate before it even gets put out. Like,
And
Like,
they've
if
had
something like-
real.
if something like
From
that
what
just
I've heard,
seems so
they've had
silly.
real problems with that in the past, right?
not really get. Okay, it says DLC. It says 2020.
Well,
Yeah.
So it's
promo 2020, so it's actually a different watermark than
Solid.
the DLC.
It'll
Technically,
probably rotate the same time as DLC. I
Probably.
like that it's still in. Okay, I was just worried they put like the base on it, which would be a real problem come May when My Hero is supposed to drop, and all of that's going to rotate.
that brings me to a question. This is unrelated, but so like the Soul Calibur
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
have that DLC symbol. So
The new ones?
cards, right.
The 2 dots.
So they can't use cards that have like the Soul Calibur or Libra of Soul symbol. That's dumb. Just want to say that.
Currently, they
Just wanna
cannot.
say
I
that.
personally don't think that because when the Mortal Kombat one comes out, like, then they can use the Mortal Kombat.
And that
Can
Mortal
they?
Kombat one's nut.
No,
Well,
they
like if
won't
they
be
had
able
the
to.
symbol.
It's not going to be the same watermark
if they had the symbol, it would be like that Mortal Kombat one's real good.
because the Mortal Kombat set has the Mortal Kombat symbol in the bottom left.
Yeah.
But these ones,
The
they
DLC is
won't.
just going to DLC 2020.
But I mean, like, and then like for the Street Fighter one, like there's a Street Fighter exclusive. Like they're missing out on it as well. I think it's just to clear up like any confusion. Like
It's
when this
also going to
when
make
this card
rotation easier.
when this card was made, it was meant for this Ken, this
Yeah.
Ryu, this Bison. Like
What does the Soul Calibur, that asset? What that'll probably have promo 2020 on it?
I think it does. Tam, can you pull up that one? Soul Calibur. Just Soul Calibur the card. Okay. Oh, it's not? Solid.
Not a big deal. This is sidetracking, but
Tam's opening up a file
just an
cabinet we don't
interesting,
have.
just an interesting thing that like, yeah, I'm playing this Soul Calibur character, but I can't use
The Soul
cards
Calibur
that
exclusive.
say
Soul
Soul Calibur character only,
Or
basically.
Libra of Souls,
Right.
the action. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
if?
exactly.
What if you stack your other character in?
Ooh,
you, from my understanding, is that you just get the text.
we're getting into weird.
Oh,
I-
dang!
from-
I stumped the rules master.
Oh no.
Don't call
I
me
just want to
Wolf
say,
Master. We didn't get to take that test.
I don't think that you should be able to because if you don't get your character's hand size or the character's life, then why would you gain the character's watermark?
That's a good point.
Sure.
I was just curious.
No,
I'm not.
It's actually a really good question.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Which means that the other promo probably has the seventh cross.
Yeah, it does.
Which matters because if they put out a seventh cross promo DLC pack, it won't be able to play in those. It won't be able to play in those, which
Right.
is also not cool.
That is super lame.
I think it's cool. We made this card specifically. For
I mean, I
this
get
set.
why.
Yeah.
I get this functionally, but it's like it was like
It's
it seems
silly.
like an oversight of like, well,
Yeah.
we're gonna make more Soul Calibur characters, or we're gonna make more Mortal Kombat characters, but they can't use these cards that only
Yeah.
characters from this, can use. So it's just I don't know.
No, I definitely agree.
I can't. Find
Not that I was gonna run any of those.
I don't think it's that important.
principle of the
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I'm
If
I'm
I
now
wanted
curious, so I have to
to
try.
run Libra of Souls in my new Inferno deck to murder people even more,
Yeah.
I would, but I can't.
Exactly.
Dang Jasco done diddled me.
Yeah, dang diddler.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everything come summertime I think we'll be good and clear through this
Yeah.
quarantine, this nightmare. I don't think it's anything
Oh,
too
yeah.
bad that we have to talk
It's
or
just
worry
a stronger
about.
flu is what.
Yeah.
What it is.
I just don't think that the UnIVersus schedule is meant for postponements like that. So.
No, it's meant for hard days.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna affect them, but I think if it somewhat does affect them, they're gonna have to do a lot of like
How
planning and stuff.
how rough is it that this is happening when Jessica's trying to make this huge push?
It's gonna be real rough, but I don't think the push really starts till May. Like
Yeah.
they're doing a bunch of like prereq
So
stuff. Like
it's
going to
it's not
conventions and
affecting it
stuff.
currently. All right.
Currently, it's
All
not
right.
doing a lot.
Yeah,
like they
but
went
I
to
mean,
Gamma
stuff
this last
like-
weekend, presented a lot of cool shit.
Like NakaCon got canceled, right? I don't know if they were going to be there, but that seems like the type of place that they would be, right?
Yeah, they were at
my hair.
Gamma this last weekend and presented a lot of cool shit. Like a lot of cool shit.
I don't know.
Sleeves, mats.
The word is out there. The content and everything is out there. Like if
We're out here.
we as a community, not necessarily just saying this is us, but like we have built it, so nerds will come. Everybody.
I did see that one of our local shops, not one that runs UFS, but one of our local game shops,
Yeah, the most successful game shop
is closing down their game area until like April 3rd.
Yeah, they're two like older. It's like a older couple ran
Dragon
with like
Slayer,
with like a couple
Oh,
other older guys.
No, I was talking about game shop.
Oh, Dragon's Lair has closed all, like that entire game room too. Yeah.
I was talking about game shop.
So Krypton's the other one I was thinking.
So, well, because I was about to say that like your small events, they should be fine, but like maybe not.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh is reaching 30, 40 people consistently.
And like the other issue you run into is just like some of those people aren't gonna like care if they like even if know if they have it or not.
Yeah,
That one
it only
person
takes
shows
one.
up
It only takes
and
one.
like it's literally just like I'll cut his deck. Oh, now that person has it.
Yeah.
And then they go into
Yeah.
the next match.
It
I'll
only
cut their
takes
deck,
one.
and
Yeah.
it just passes along.
There was a Smash local in Chicago that a guy went to a local and then found out the next day that he had it.
Solid. That's gonna be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I think the infection rate I heard was like 1 to every 2. So like every single one person gives it to 2 others.
I don't know.
Which
That's
is a
why if
very
I
strong-
was LWG, I definitely would close down my gaming space
Which
because
is-
your shop is literally in a mall.
Yeah, you're gonna
Oh
literally
yeah,
any-
that's so much worse.
And it's so much worse because literally anybody could walk in, right? And
Well,
so like
oh,
when
yeah,
you- when you're-
they don't even have to walk in.
right, but so when you're like a comic or like a game store, you have like such specific amount of people coming in. But like there's a Kohl's or J.C. Penney's or whatever at the end of their walkway.
some
There's
kid-
so many people.
Some
walking
kid just
around
walks
and-
in because his mom's. I'm gonna go shopping. Okay, I'm gonna sit over here at the game store.
Well, don't they share like the same air conditioning throughout the whole mall?
I actually don't know how that works.
I'm not super sure about that, but I don't know. Like the mall's probably like taking precautions. Like they've hired more people to be cleaning and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I mean, even then though, like somebody literally walking in with it, like there's not really much
There's
you
not
can
a lot
do.
you can do. And then onto the character thing, it's just gives the abilities and research symbols. Doesn't give anything
Yeah,
else.
texts and symbols.
So as far as I know, no. But game's weird sometimes. Yeah. So like,
Totally fine.
oh yeah. So I'm hoping it's gonna be done, but
We should be good.
we should be fine.
Everybody, wash your hands and don't buy out the toilet paper.
Or
Why are you
or
fools
wipes.
buying so
or
much
hand
toilet
sanitizer.
paper?
Well,
Like,
people buy toilet paper because they're just silly and they expect some kind of like crazy epidemic and that they're not supposed to leave their house for months on end, right? Because I mean, that's like the only logical. That's the only logical explanation, right? Like wrapping yourself in toilet paper is not gonna make you.
I mean,
hey,
any
I think you've
healthier
made a
or-
grave
The F-
mistake already. I think you've made a grave
the
mistake.
FDA got on a bunch of people because like they put a bunch of antiviral words on a bunch of their shit, and then we're getting on them because like their shit's not antiviral. I literally cashed out somebody the other day with Kleenexes that said antiviral, and I'm like, how? How can a Kleenex be antiviral?
I'm supposed to
Are you
blow
supposed
my
to eat it?
viruses into them.
Are you supposed to eat it? Just
Oh
like,
my
do you eat it like you digest it, then it becomes an antiviral? Like,
Oh my god.
I mean, I assume it's treated with some sort of like lotion or something that has
yeah, probably, but like,
whatever alcohol or whatever substance.
yeah, because
that-
I want to rub alcohol in my nose.
well, yeah, probably not
Man.
alcohol, but
Like, I don't even like the lotion ones because the lotion ones just like they just irritate my nose too. It's just like I don't want that.
The last thing I'll say is this comes from Alex Marasco. He told me he works at this phone place inside of Target, and he was walking around on like one of his breaks or whatever, and he was walking past the toilet paper aisle because he was genuinely curious as to if they were sold out or not. And he's walking past this couple, and the guy says, "I heard you're supposed to eat the toilet paper, so you don't get infected." I
can only hope that they were joking. That it was
They're trying to mess with some Target employee.
where is that
They're saying
meme? Or like I want to see that meme, dude.
really loudly in a public place to try to convince other people. They're just spreading rumors.
yeah,
It's
no.
so bad. Like we're sold out of aloe vera because you can mix it with rubbing alcohol and make your own hand sanitizer. So we're sold out of that shit too. Like it's nuts at the stupid shit people are gonna do, and how none of this affects card games.
Yeah. That's the
Just-
too long didn't read.
Just be clean, and if you have anything worse than fever symptoms, go to the hospital. If you have a fever or cold, do not waste your time. Do not walk in a hospital.
Just know you have it.
Dude, honestly, straight up, at that PTC, you should probably just wash your hand after like every round.
Everything.
Bring
Every
hand
round.
sanitizer if you could afford it. I know it's getting expensive.
Are they getting jacked up too? Like
No, like the regular prices aren't, but like people are like scalping it on eBay.
Oh,
Like I heard some
dude.
people
If
are
I
like,
was a toilet paper company right now, Charmin Ultra break your pockets. Like,
it's so dumb. Okay.
yeah.
So on to more promo topics, because we were talking about the promos a little bit for Game
Yeah.
Push Back, but the impact the DLCs will have on our meta. With all these DLC packs, they have a bunch of cool characters. We got Street Fighter coming out soon.
Yeah.
We have Soul Calibur, the Grim Fairy Tales one. I still have to go buy that comic, but I'd have to go to a comic book store, and I don't know if any are open. And
I mean, they're open. Just
I really want that seller.
don't even think about walking in. You walk in.
Well,
and
I
just
need to
get
go get my
sprayed.
comics.
Just get
I'm
sprayed.
gonna go get my comics.
But I think they're definitely gonna have an impact to the meta because
Oh,
I
man.
mean, one of them already topped the biggest tournament of the year, right? And they were out for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Two characters topped.
Oh,
Two of the same
yeah.
character. Dark.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a dark one in top,
But
and a dark one that got the first.
Only one topped.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
about your luck, bud. You weren't
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dark one.
But I mean that
you were
stat still matters.
The dark.
the dark
No.
too.
That still matters.
So-
You know, like two people played a character from the DLC back and made top 16
Yeah.
for the biggest event of the year, and it was out for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's nuts.
maybe they shouldn't have thought of the same deck and went to the same tournament.
And I'm on the
right?
I'm on this boat, and I got Tam to join my boat. It's not the dark one. It's just Hellfire Impalement. Hellfire Impalement is a card that should be banned.
No, so what I was gonna say is after this ban list, the game is looking for something to break the game, and well, I think they found it.
Oh, I found it all right. Hellfire's nuts. Look at
This card is
Look at that shit.
not fair.
I don't know if you guys can see it from our angle. We can definitely see it. I don't know if Tam has it up on his thing, but card's nuts. It's a 5/7 stun 1. Has
There's no drawback to that card.
The two
You
checks
realize
the
that, right?
drawback.
No,
The
it's
two
not.
check-
It's not though.
I know. 'Cause
It's
you can
not
just play
because
the
it
bottom
fuels your
enhance.
other one.
You could also just play the enhance and ready all the shit you had to commit for checking it too.
Yeah.
There's no drawback to this card. It
The
even
drawback
has a
is-
good block. What like? Why can it not have one bad stat on the card?
Because it's a 2-check. It has to be worth playing.
That's not a bad stat for
It's
what the
not
card
at all.
does.
I mean, do we think that we're just seeing
The decks we've built.
some power creep just
Oh,
in
man.
general?
I don't wanna see-
mean,
I don't want to see power creep.
Sorry, power creep is in every card game.
that's what I'm saying.
And-
Like, is that just what we're seeing out of these packs?
And I 100% agree because I mean, if you look at it, right, you have to. The point of making a new product is to sell more product and to make more product available to the players, right? And so now you have to find a way to beat Cowboy Bebop, and then they did that with Mortal Kombat. All right, so now you have to find a way to make sure that not everybody's on the Mortal Kombat train, even though tons of people still play Mortal Kombat cards. Mortal Kombats are so relevant. Once that
Mortal Kombats are very
rotates out, everybody's hearts will be
It's
broken.
gonna be a solid rotation.
Yeah, it's gonna be
With
very
that
solid
one you
rotation.
had, I guess.
You-
I don't think Seventh Cross was worth it. I don't
Yeah.
think Yusuke.
But so
Yu Yu Hakusho
then
was
you
worth it.
dropped to Yu Yu Hakusho, and at that time, it was a very powerful set. A lot of people were messing with Kuwabara and Yusuke, and they were the front runners from that set.
Blanca. Not Blanca,
A couple people were messing with Byako.
Byako.
Ryan Fields, top nationals with Byako. Shout outs to him. But then then you release
Soul Cal 2.
Soul Cal 2,
Libra.
which
Libra.
seemed to have a huge impact on the meta. And so like at that point it's like I have to beat this set and this set. I have to try and like get people to buy this
here's-
stuff instead of just
I don't want them to
doing
beat it. This is a DLC pack. I don't want them to have to try and top a DLC pack
I
on
get
strength.
it, but like in a business aspect, you have to make the content like
You have
Yeah.
to, you have to
relevant
make
enough.
it work.
You have to make it relevant enough to where it could actually work, right?
I don't think you have to
And,
break
like,
the game.
But it's not breaking the game. I just think that it probably wasn't accurately tested in an environment of like if this deck could be deemed as toxic or not, or stuff like that. And I mean, like it seems pretty silly to draw 3 cards or whatever off of it and then ready like 5 cards or whatever. Or
It's super.
however you want to work it or word it. But
Revoke's gonna be a really good card next format.
I just
Revoke's
think
already a really good card.
we already know the Street Fighter characters, but if the Street Fighter characters were announced, like, you know, Ryu 2 or 3 dot or whatever, you know, like if he sucks, nobody's gonna want to buy it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it showed with the tins for the most part, right? Like the Covert Intent versus the Shoryuken tin. Like
Everyone
at
had
first, you could never find
It was really
a Covert
weird.
Intent tin,
'Cause when
and
I
then
went
the
to-
Shoryuken ones, you could find.
When
the-
I
the
went to
ones-
order them,
Yeah.
I was told, yeah, we don't have the Ryu one. I was just like, I was real disappointed.
But
I would
it's-
rather have that card.
The thing is,
Card's
though,
cool.
is everybody probably short ordered those tins because everybody expected Covert Intent to be like the next hot thing, the next, you know, big crazy combo play and stuff like that.
For all of you out there, Covert and 10 All Might, it's a thing. I built a sick ass deck where you stuff your opponent's card pool shit and then Covert Intent and let them draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah,
And you just play your attacks that get speed and damage.
but I mean, I think you said
Or
it
damage.
perfectly earlier,
Yeah.
right? Not every character is going to be good.
Yeah,
not every
so-
not every card's going to be good.
Yeah, I think my opinion, like there are going to be some characters in the packs that are going to be obviously the dark one. You know, I think each pack is going to have
They're going to have their outliers.
you know, 1 or 2 good ones and then a couple bad ones. But I think the attacks, I think, are going to be what we see more of because those
Right.
are very obviously very good.
And they're very universal.
right.
Most of the
And,
time,
and
they're
a lot
for
of
the most
them.
part, you have to make them. You have to make
Yeah,
them
I-
somewhat generic.
yeah, I think a lot of those.
I actually think a lot of
gonna be
like the
pretty
Street
good.
Fighter ones, because where we have he has those pulled up on our screen right
Yeah.
now, are less like unique than the not less unique, more or less
I think they're more unique and
more unique.
Yes.
and aren't able to be played in other things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what I was taking a peek. And honestly, this is my hot take. I think every ultra rare should be somewhat character specific, whether it has a character only enhance or only playable while this character. I
or
think
gets the most value.
I think that it just would increase like the play in uncommons, rares, and commons in general. And I think it would open a little bit of deck building like thoughts for people, right? Because like you could take an all deck, jam 20 ultra rares in it, grab a bunch of the good assets and foundations, and you can go like win a tournament, right? But like at that point, you're playing off of the power creep of your ultra rares.
Yeah,
Or some people would argue that you playing.
we'll talk about this a lot, but like I think the best ultra rare they've ever created was Ultimate Undead for its character. Every time it gives you an ability, it's a 6/3. It's like I don't remember what the stats are, but like it has an ability that's commit a foundation, and then every time you play an attack, you discard a card, and it counts as reviewing, and then it gets reviewed. So every time you play an attack, you review a card, and then his ability goes off and goes, yeah, I'll give +1/+1 to this thing, and then every time you play an attack, it does it again, and you're cycling your hand into more attacks as well as fueling your character.
Yeah.
Like Ultimate Dead's cool in some other characters, but like it's explosive in Lord Raptor
Yeah.
when you could play it. Obviously, it's rotated.
Yeah, and that's
wanna play old
it's
Lord Raptor.
it's a little off topic, but like that's one thing I don't like about the ultra rares is I feel like they're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Shotgun,
Right,
you can
like,
play it any deck you
Before
want.
before Yu Yu Hakusho, I never thought a card like Spirit Shotgun would exist. Before Soul Calibur, I never thought what's it called?
Scarlet.
Yeah, like I never thought Scarlet would be a thing. And like I would think that Inferno's common that like gives huge stats, the common for
Death
burning.
Lord?
Yeah. I would think that'd be at least a rare or like something
that-
like that.
that seems
Not-
like it's a good
not
card.
just a common.
That seems like he's a good card.
But
Like there's a lot of weird choices they make. Probably on the impact they want the cards to have rather than the impact they were expecting.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree, but I don't think that they should all just say like this character only.
No,
I think
no,
that
no.
that's too limiting. Yeah.
Tam, can you pull up Ultimate Dead
I
one more
think
time?
that they need to like have really good synergy with their character, and then other characters not as much synergy, but still
still
maybe,
generic
but still be
enough
like
to-
usable.
That's
right?
one of the reasons
But
I
you don't
really
want them
like
just
this
to
card.
be. You don't want them to just be generically good. It's not like, well, I put missile launcher in anything, and it's just gonna be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
those are boring.
Yeah,
it's
and-
like boring for deck building.
Yeah.
I think.
That's why I like the I use this as like an example is because like this is a 4 low for 7 weapon with powerful 3. It's a momentum out. Sure, it's a 6 check and you have to commit a foundation to its ability, but its ability says funnel for more attacks. Even if so, like if you're not playing Lord Raptor, you don't care if you're reviewing. It's still discard a card, draw a card, which means you can get rid of your foundations to draw more attacks, as well as being an off zone in a 4, has a 2 high block, doesn't check bad, has powerful 3 as a momentum out.
it's
and
a relevant guard.
and it's a 7 damage attack.
Yeah.
Like it's overcost, and sometimes you choose other things over it because like Missile Launch could be playing everything. Obviously not the same symbols, but like Missile Launch could be playing everything. This Random Ultra Rare could be playing everything. You don't you bypass things like this where it's just like this card late game gives you a whole hand of attacks. This card just says, I drew 3 attacks and I kind of need like 4 or 5 to kill. I'll get there. We'll get somewhere. Like it just, it's very good in Lord Raptor and pretty all right in other characters.
But yeah, so back on topic for DLC, I think the DLC is like really, really weird. So honestly, I think that half the foundations just suck. I don't think that the foundations have been really thought out. Sorry. But like, so how I see it is, we have our list of characters. We separate everything. So we have our list of characters. All right, that's really cool. This character does this one cool thing. No other character does it like that. So it opens the meta, and then let's draw the attacks. Okay, these 2 are really insane. So now that shortens the meta to playing these symbols. So you open available characters, but then you shorten like which symbols are actually like good again. That's one thing like about the power creep. At least I feel about this. Because like Matricide, for example, like wow, that deck seems really cool and everything, but like
You're only
the
going to
deck,
play Earth.
yeah, and like the deck that can use Matricide the best is just gonna blow people out, and it's just gonna shorten like everything to where Matricide will be used in this one deck and nothing else can play it, or nothing else will play it as effectively.
Because like
And
Good
a lot
and
of
Void,
people just get like very narrow vision.
Good and Void don't flip anything on our opponent's side. They really don't. There's maybe like 1 or 2 cards, but they probably also share Earth.
Unless they're also
So,
Earth,
like-
right? Like I think of like Siegfried stuff. It's like, well, yeah, he's got both.
He's got Void, and it's just like,
yeah.
but then with Earth, you get to play Aswell, Astaroth, Biako. Like you get a bunch of options that isn't just Siegfried. like there's that's one of the problems I have with those, because like if we looked at like one of like Impalement, Fire Evil's his best symbols. Both of those mill cards to get speed or damage. Fire even more so because it you have all of like jet support, which it mills. You get all of Mad Pro, Inferno. You get all those, and then like if you also get like for like Gorefest, you get the same thing. Inferno, Mad P, Jet. All those are just fire monsters that just dump their decks for cool stuff. Like it just, man, that's such a cool. I love this card. This card's cool on the screen, and it's cool in my hand. That art's so beautiful. Man, I love the art for these packs. By the way, some people don't. I've heard that some people don't like the borders. I think they're perfect.
The
They're
only
beautiful.
problem I have is, so you don't see it in pictures, but in person, the foundations kind of look like attacks. Just because things are so shiny. Like, I hold them in my hands, and I'm just like, how many attacks do I... just that automatic, like, scan when you draw your first... You're like, oh, no, that's not an attack. That's just a really shiny foundation.
Well, it's just really weird because I think they printed attacks like that first with the foiling, right? No?
That would be... I think the first card they printed like that was Revoke. Revoke always seems like a test subject. Always. Revoke was like the first card where they used the like the super foil.
Oh, that's what you mean. That's what you mean. Okay.
I believe that was their first test where they put it out.
No, I was just thinking like of like the recent promos and stuff like that, right? Like most of them are usually attacks like Repa and Iron Knuckle and Skull Barrier and stuff like that. Those are super
So
foily,
it's
and
just
you're used
more
to
of
playing really good common foundations, or like you rarely see good rare foundations. And an ultra rare foundation, that doesn't exist. So when you see nothing but shine in your hand, you think. Yeah.
I think they could have went with like a different style of rarity. Did a different style of rarity for each one. I think that would have been cool.
Well, and what doesn't help that, for example, right there, the Akuma Foundation has a whole Lord of Red on it.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Like it stands out. Like even like the one right below it. Sorry, Tam, we're making you click on a bunch of things. The one right below it.
It has
like
a bunch of orange on
a
it.
bunch of yellow that spikes out.
Yeah.
Gets really impactful, and like it looks like it could be an attack.
Exactly.
Like,
And it just seems like they're shoving all the gray into the corners and then to where the symbols are, which I mean is fine.
They're trying to-
Like,
they're trying to make
you
it
want,
stand
you want
out.
you want the game to pop, and you want it to be really appeasing.
And I
have a
bet
bunch of new
as we
kids.
get more UnIVersus cards, it'll feel more natural because you'll get used to seeing that the way they
but
look.
as people have played the game,
but
for
right
a little
now,
longer,
it's like
looking at
whoop,
normal
that's,
things. Yeah,
ooh, no, that's a
yeah.
foundation.
Man, the art on these are so sick. I love the DLC pack so much.
Going back to what you said about a lot of the foundations being bad, I think the one thing that I like about some of them, like again coming from the Inferno deck that I built, right? I like that they have big synergy with the attack.
Yeah.
right? I think those
They
are the
do.
coolest ones. The ones
They
that
really
don't
function.
have like synergy and are just like trying to be like, put this in any deck. Those are the ones that are like not very
Those-
good.
yeah.
Like I feel like the Raph one. I can't think of what it says exactly.
The
but
Raph one. So like I was watching him play
The
it.
Raph one is pretty clutch in the Raph
The
deck.
the Raph one
but
I think
that's
is
the thing,
actually good.
It's
It's just
good
Raph.
in the Raph deck.
Yeah, but
which
it's not going to be like a
supposed to be.
generic.
But yeah.
you're not going to put.
Cam, can you go back up to the Raphael one? Because like I watched him play it, and oh boy, did I underrate this card when I first looked at it.
Yeah, I had 2 of them, so that's why it was really overwhelming. But like
But,
just
like,
the bottom enhance just
if
to
you
give
flipped
damage.
one?
Yeah, and it's really easy to flip a foundation, like in a lot of different decks.
And so like the thing I was thinking about instantly was like Let's Party. I'll flip. Cool. My next one I'll ignore. I flipped. I'll give this plus a damage. I'll search out another Let's Party.
Yeah.
I'll search out another Let's Party.
Plus
flip,
2, plus 2.
Flip a thing. +2/+2.
Yep.
And like it's just like it just starts scaling. Like
Yeah.
and I was like when I watched you play that one time I went oh. I went ooh.
Well, and I think that's how Raph is supposed to be played.
He's supposed to scale.
Like I'm playing 4-4-4-4-3-2 for attacks or something like that, and like those ratios are wrong. I shouldn't be doing it. Like I'm only playing 3 impalement because I don't want my deck to revolve on just impalement and me paying 10 life
I
like
think
in
you
a
just
turn.
should because like
I just don't think it's a foolproof enough strategy, right? Like let's say I play against your Inferno deck, for example. You go first, you win the die roll, you build 3 or 4 or whatever. I build 5. You play a single throw at me, and I'm
You're
almost
dead.
in desperation, right?
Which is what you want.
Which is where I want to be. But
You wanna get
any
yourself
real
there.
Raph deck, right? Any real Raph 2 deck isn't gonna want that, right? Their goal is to do some crazy combo by playing a bunch of the same attack over and over again. I get away with it because I have a grip of
Attacks.
desperation cards, right? Like my attacks are already cheap and they're like becoming free, but the DLC most definitely powerful, but when you split it all out and you take it out of just the spotlight of like, oh, this character's really
new
cool
thing.
you kind of just realize that foundations are meant to power attacks, and then the characters are kind of
Yeah,
just
or like the
standalone
Talon one is
sometimes.
another good example of that too, where like if you're running the attack, you're probably running the foundation. Like
Yeah.
they just like are a nice little pair off
Yeah.
of each other.
I think so. Like, I don't think the Grim Fairy Tales did a good job of pairing those. I think Soul Calibur did a very good job, and then I think it kind of mellowed out in Street Fighter, in my opinion, where they're really cool and they do some things for your character, but they're not just like I'll dump everything into my remove from game pile so I can play this gore fest to make it real big, like which is nuts.
Yeah.
And like I think they kind of mellowed out except for the Akuma Foundation, but that's because that card is generically dumb as fuck.
Are we gonna see? This is still on topic, I guess, a little
Sure.
bit. Are we gonna see any Akuma decks with 1, 2, and 3 all in the deck trying to gauge? Are they?
I've
it's
already
being
been
worked
talking-
on.
Are they gonna
I've
be
already
being
been
worked
talking
on.
about it because like
Are they
with-
gonna do anything? Is it gonna be good?
I don't know. I really want to test it because like the thing is like with we get to play Quan Chi stuff, and Quan Chi stuff is like I'll mill 4 and pick up a character. I'll pick up all characters. Akuma 3 dot says I'll touch a character to give this +6 damage, and then you get the new foundation that's just like I'll give this gauge. I'll gauge this out. You get to play things like Black Death. You get to play things like Affliction's nuts. I'll make this 3 mid for 2, a 3 mid for whatever. Has Breaker 2 on its own. I actually hate his attack. I think his attack's trash. But like this foundation's nuts. You get to play. If you stack the characters, you get to both neg checks twice. You get to give damage and stun. You get to. There's just so much you get to do.
Yeah. I
by
think
just stacking
conceptually, like
characters.
it's a really cool thing, but
If you're
again,
not able
I'm-
to stack characters,
yeah. See,
Yes,
like
that's
I'm
what you're
trying.
into.
I have that like ability to
What-
do that.
he's
in
a
the-
7-hander, right?
Yeah, 720.
So under evil, we just get to play all of Suzaku stuff too. So like, we're gonna get there.
True.
We're gonna get there.
True.
Oh man, this deck's gonna be nuts.
I don't know. Seems like a meme. Seems like gonna be a meme that doesn't.
Dude,
work.
I'm down. I'm down
Hey,
for
welcome
this.
to the podcast.
Welcome to TCGU University. I am captain of the meme squad.
True. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Gosh, we should have convinced Tyler to play something else at the Rockford PTC. I wanted you to play Water Girl so bad.
So no. So the problem with the Water Grow deck was it was too late for the meta. The meta was perfect when I went to the Chicago PTC at the beginning of the year.
No, it just got fixed before the Rockford PTC. You didn't have to deal with literally everybody playing Spirit Gun and
Oh, you're right.
and
What was the reason we didn't
Tagoro's
do it?
brothers. You only had to worry about Tagoro
Why
brothers.
didn't we do it then?
Because Tyler was playing Goro. Tyler wanted to play Goro, and so both of you would have went playing Goro. That was the problem.
And then Tyler defaulted to.
he played Goro at that event.
No, I thought he played Rimless.
No, he got 8th with Goro at Rockford. Or sorry, not Rockford. My
Indiana?
bad. Indiana. Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I
okay,
meant.
okay.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay.
I
We're
got my
back on-
events mixed up.
We're back on board. That's why I was really confused. I was
Yeah.
like, that wouldn't have worked. The Chicago PTC was the perfect event to do it to, except I had food poisoning. My stomach.
Maybe it's a good thing that Chicago's closed down the restaurants on the inside. Yeah, I love a lot of this DLC. And
DLC looks
yeah.
sick. All these characters are nuts.
I think
Like,
that Sea Viper attack is going to be really good for. Hold on now. I know the character's not good, but Fei Long has good, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
like,
Fei Long.
fire, water.
Oh no, he has
He has
air,
air,
fire, water.
air.
Dang it, never mind.
Wasn't
I wanted Fei Long to be able to play Sea Viper's attack.
isn't Tyler hyped for that attack?
Nope. You want to know why? Tam, go ahead and pull that up and enlarge that if you can. The Sea Viper attack.
Because it says combo stun for 3 momentum.
No.
Oh, the fact that it's Viper enhanced isn't like worth anything.
Oh,
It's Viper
Because you
enhanced isn't
can't
worth
give
anything?
charge to the multiples.
dang it.
You can give charge to this, but that's not really good. I mean, you can give this the damage, but like without being able to give the multiples these stuff, it's just not worth it. It's
Oh,
real.
because you
That
can only
seems
play
like a
on Viper,
weird
yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Like, are there any others? I can't think of. I don't have a good memory for
They use
all
charge?
the DLC. But no. How many have
Like a
character only
specific thing.
in these DLCs?
Oh, in the DLCs, I think
That's
she
the
might
that's
be
the only one in Street Fighter at least.
See, that's.
Well, so like here's the thing.
He's getting
This card-
targeted.
This card makes so many bad characters playable, and I'm upset that it has Sea Viper
Yeah,
only.
that's just such a weird.
Do you know
choice.
how good DJ could be if you could change all of your things to change all of them to charge? The last one resolves. You play your next attack and whatever, and then you draw 5 cards. Who cares? You about to pull up DJ?
yeah, unfortunately.
Well, go to break after this. Oh, they don't have symbol? I thought he had fire. Never mind. Okay.
I thought he had good, but that character sucks. So
I thought he had fire. I thought.
I just think
thought he was
again,
light,
it's
fire,
just like a
water.
weird design choice of like
Making
let's
this-
make these DLC
no,
packs.
I'm pretty sure
to-
it's spiteful.
I'm trying to figure out what has charge on it that matters.
What?
it's just, man, it's just
that would be cool in Talum.
that's just really silly.
If I don't know what if it shares its.
I wonder if it's just for that
Man,
purpose.
that
It's
is
just like things
so
that combo charge because
silly.
it just makes it silly.
That
But
is-
it's like, why make a thing that's not going to work in other things?
yeah.
I mean, they're all gonna
Well,
be
especially since people have wanted Sea Viper for so long, and so
Well,
for you
and
to
that's
And
like
they just
the-
make
all they
something
all
and
they
then
did
make
was
something dummy specific.
That's real dumb because like I strongly think that like none of these characters are good enough. Not even Inferno. I don't think so. Like by themselves, I'm not sure if
I
they're
watched
good
him
enough.
play once. The only problem he has is he's a 5-hander. That is the only problem.
I think
like-
I think the other problem he has is he relies a lot on him not being committed or sealed. And
I
there are
think
so
you
many
could.
Things
I think you could play 4 Gorefest, 4 Tech Sphere, and just all throws, and just get away with it.
I was honestly surprised you weren't playing all throws.
I
Well,
thought about
Gorefest is nuts, and
But
Tech
it's
Sphere
not as
copies
much
everything
fun.
you remove. But like, it's
I think the point of playing Inferno was fun.
again. Welcome to TCGU University. Welcome to the meme squad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think it's very strange that they locked it in like, that.
deck
and, like,
loadable content, but you're
I'll
not
be-
gonna load it into any of your decks.
Specific deck loadable content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did not even think about that after seeing the Sea Viper card. I just like read it and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Charge for multiple copies. That's
Whatever.
cool. What a awesome
So
character only.
instantly when I
enhance.
read that, I didn't read the Sea Viper enhance because we were on our way to where were we? We were on our way to.
we were on our way to
Indiana.
Kansas City. Kansas City.
Kansas City. Were we?
Yeah, to fly to Vegas.
Sure, that works. We were on our way somewhere. Probably Kansas City. He's probably right. And I read it and don't remember C Viper as the enhanced part. I was just like, Tyler, this is real sick for blocking. You gotta play blocking again.
He got Tyler all excited. Tyler's just driving, you know.
And then Jeff goes, "It says C Viper only," and we all went, "Oh." Like it's so depressing.
That's
Well,
really
'cause-
sad because the +1 or the +2
Doesn't
honestly
matter a whole
wouldn't-
lot.
Wouldn't even be
It's
that
just really
good.
cool. It's just really cool.
a cool interaction.
That you get to play at like the end of a chain. You play it at the end of the chain, get your multiple 3 out, have 4 attacks that you can give +X to maybe. It's pretty neat.
That's silly.
But the art on these are all sick. That's the only like whoever's working on the
That's
art for
his
these.
main thing.
Me?
James just wants
the
you to
art
know
style-
that they fucking look good.
The arts look so
He
fucking
I totally
sick.
agree.
The art
You
style
said it
is
like
anything out
5
of this
times.
I'm gonna
podcast.
keep saying it. Give me a podcast count. I want to say it 10 more times.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's get on to our next topic. But first, some ads.
Thanks, Tam, for shooting it over to us. The first sponsor of this week's podcast is InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and much, much more. Shot out of a cannon. James, what would you get on a playmat if you had to pick one right now?
7 swell from Eureka 7.
What is that?
It's like it's the aftermath of like them launching a nuke practically.
I love Nuke.
I love
I
nuke.
love Nuke.
Yeah.
Technically, it's like a reaction between like a robot and.
Well, you can get it on a playmat. What would you get?
I'm Izuken.
Izuken.
Yeah.
What is that?
Stop!
anime.
No,
New anime?
right now.
Yeah.
I've fallen in love with it.
Is it really good?
it's
It
like
is.
Edda and Eddie the
It's-
anime.
So
It's
it
the
has
way
been
it's described
described
to me.
as if Ed, Ed and Eddie was an anime about 3 girls making an anime.
Wow. Well,
It is also made by the same guy that made Ping Pong the animation.
I'm super in. You could definitely get that on a
course
playmat
you
with
would. It's Ping Pong the
InkGaming.com.
animation.
Spider-Man, obviously. They even recently added stitched options to their playmats and mouse pads as well. I've got a couple of these stitched playmats. They are exceptionally good. They're so, so good. Edges never fray, they never curl, nothing. So if you want to get 10% off of your order, please use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, and help support the channel by customizing your game to your style. In addition to Ink Gaming, we've also got Cards Custom Build. Are you in a cosplay, looking to get in a cosplay, or you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way to full costumes, full stop. James, if you had Cards Custom Build making something right now, what would it be? It could be anything. Full costume, or...
It'd probably be Weiss's weapon from Ruby.
Are you sure? Because he could easily make the gun from Gears of War. Easily. The big chainsaw gun?
There's a lot. There's a lot I would want.
Well,
Okay?
give me an example.
Yeah, you got the Gears chainsaw.
Uh-huh.
You got the Halo sword.
Uh-huh.
You got a bunch of things you could do.
He would do some sick stuff with a Halo sword. Just saying. It'd be real, real pretty. Tyler, how about you, man? What would you want?
Something from Steven Universe, I think.
Yeah?
You
Yeah.
get the Steven Universe shield.
The shield and the sword, or like Garnet's gauntlet.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
Those sound hype. Those sound hype. So if you want a cosplay made of perfectly flowing cloth, or maybe a rigid battle armor, the new Mandalorian show just came out and finished. Season 2's coming out. He's an expert at making a bunch of nerdy Star Wars stuff. The work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either Facebook or on their Etsy account. Link will be in the description down below. Make sure to mention that TCGU sent you their way, and you will get 5% off your entire order. Back to the show.
Hey, those were some nice ad reads, guys. I don't know who read those ad reads. We'll figure it out. Shout out to those guys. So on to our next topic. Why is everything so free or / undercosted?
Well, you see, gas is actually at a really good price right now, as well as plane ticket. Oh, sorry. We're not talking about that.
Circle
Talking
back
about
to our
UnIVersus.
first topic.
So like this topic, I've have a very strong opinion on because I've had this opinion for like the last year, and Jeff is now on my boat from losing a bunch today.
Yeah,
Jeff's-
no, I built this sweet combo deck,
Yeah, so
and it
let's-
just doesn't matter because, like,
Yeah,
I don't get this insane effect.
Let's start the conversation by explaining what we mean, right? So for example, like give a
the
couple
ability
examples,
to
right?
just so my examples are Nutcracker, and we'll just go with your Inferno. Nutcracker says add a card to your card pool to draw a card. Why is adding the card to the card pool the biggest cost of that card when almost all the symbols, there's a bunch of shit that just says ignores progressive difficulty while in the card pool.
Yeah,
Fusion
or-
Refusal,
yeah.
Sense of Morals, Reborn Human. You got a bunch of shit that just doesn't count in progressive. So there's no real cost of just going draw a card.
Yeah.
The abilities draw a card. There's no. It's
Yeah.
such a bad.
On top of that fact, like it fuels the character. Like
Yeah.
otherwise, on top of that,
Like,
so
every
like
deck
the
you play where
card,
you
the
do
card
it-
gives you insane value for literally nothing at all. And I think that's what we're determining. That's what we're talking about here.
It's just like
is
what's the
is the cost where the semicolon is the part before the semicolon and what I have to give up worth or
just even like
overwhelming
altogether,
compared to
'cause,
the
like, sometimes-
sentences afterwards.
because like sometimes coffee summons draw two, and
Right,
like
and
you draw your two as not as a
Is
cost,
it a real
but, like,
is it a real cost?
it's
Is it a
drawing
real
two.
cost to give my opponent 2 cards when I plan on killing them this turn?
Yeah, like is
Yeah.
giving them 2 cards is not the cost of the ability, but it's kind of the cost of the effect, you know?
Yeah.
Like, or like shotguns is, I have cards in my card pool, so I get damage.
No,
It's
that
not
one's
a
fine.
Right,
But
so
why
the
isn't it
logic-
like
yeah.
why isn't it like pay 6 vitality? This attack deals half. Why can't it be that?
Or just like discard momentum, this attack deals half.
Yeah.
Or this gains throw, so you can interact with it. Or for like the damage one, discard momentum,
Well,
give
I
it a
think-
bunch of damage.
I think in this example, the answer to the question why is this undercosted, because it's an ultra rare. Because like ultra rares are going to be good.
Yeah.
Like
I
I,
mean,
think that's
then
the
I'm going to
idea
take us
behind
back.
it.
I'm going to take us
I'm
back to
fine
the
with
ultimate.
that.
I'm going to take us back to the ultimate undead. This is a 6/3 with a 2 high block, 4 low for 7 that says commit a card to try and draw cool cards. You have to commit a foundation and then play other cards to do cool things. Whereas for shotgun, it's like I've already played cool things, or just dumped foundations in my card pool. This thing has throw, has 15 damage. Deal with it.
Is Ultimate Undead his ultra rare?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why? You don't,
It's just
you don't think it's
no,
cool?
I think that's interesting because that was just his basis for why it was overpowered.
But then I think the other thing you're seeing again, like we've been talking about, is power creep.
Power creep.
Right? How old? I mean that
No, I know.
card
I
you're
think
talking about isn't that old, but it's
That's
over-
that's old.
okay.
It's 2014. Yeah. Dude,
Oh.
It's pre-Rise
Well,
of the
there you
Masters.
go.
It's actually right after Rise of the Masters.
So at least 5 years. We can safely say about 5 years.
You were actually really close.
I know I was because that card was legal when I started playing.
Like we get like for your Inferno deck, I'm going to mill 3 and remove a card. So you mean you're going to dump cards in your discard pile, so you can use your foundation that says remove them all anyways, or have other targets to remove for your ability, and then you have your attacks that just go, I have cards in my remove from game pile, so I'm gonna do cool things. Like under fire, you just get a bunch of things that just like trigger because they're in the discard pile, or because you have more cards in your discard pile. What's the cost? Why is milling the cost for an ability?
Well, and another thing is like with the power creep, like cycling, is it like a real thing, right? Like maybe some of us just aren't building like the right defensive decks. Maybe some of us should reach out and try more guild decks or Cassandra wall decks or something like that, right? To test to see if it truly is just a power creep of like, wow, this deck blows me out, or maybe my deck just has like a bad matchup to it. But
well, I mean,
like
a
a lot of stuff is just it just seems like you get insane value off of it, and like that's the problem is getting insane value for no value.
that's definitely part of the problem. Like that I've realized is that with this deck that I've built, there's a singular piece of speed hate, I believe, which is not enough. But beyond that, it seems insane the amount of dice he was putting next to his every single attack card.
Yeah.
Every single attack card.
It was too unfair to your fair deck. Like
So, like, I'm definitely gonna have to revisit like the speed hate that I have, but like, maybe I just don't have access to that. I'm playing Freeing the Relics. Is there another water speed hate that I'm missing? Do I have to play?
Play
Maybe
4
maybe I do. Well, I'm playing 3, but actually maybe I have to play
Poolside only gives you -1.
his gift. Maybe I have to play his gift.
There is not a lot of speed hate for water. Huh.
So,
And I think so I think the complaint then with things being too free is that there are also cards in the same packs that have things that are not as free,
Free?
right? Because you have to have something to compare to, right? When we compare to the past, it's like, well, that's power creep, okay.
Yeah.
But when you compare to like Talum and Inferno, they're in the same thing, and Talum's trying to do all this work, and you played like 5 attacks, and you kept going and doing all this stuff, and then I said, well, I got a big brain. I'm gonna play a throw for 14 damage. What are you
All
gonna
I had
do?
to do was mill 3
Yeah.
cards from my
Yeah,
deck.
I didn't have to
and remove a foundation.
I didn't have to work at all, and that's where the issue maybe is. So
Is the sample sizes you're just playing like the DLC characters and the attacks?
exactly.
And some
Why does it
supporting
seem
roles?
like within the same pack? Like, but
Yeah.
I mean, part of the question then you have to ask is, these decks like obviously are new, right? These characters just came out, so maybe you haven't found some of the answers yet. I don't know. I mean, maybe there is like some secret combo or piece that once you get that in there, that deck's gonna click, and then it'll work better. So, but I think I sort of translate a lot of things to like fighting games because that's like what I do mainly. And so when I think about like, there are always going to be characters that are better than other characters. There's always going to be like the best character in the game, but then there are also going to always be characters that like have to do more work, right? So they're like
do what they want.
right? And those might be or like have higher execution, right? So there are going to be these characters that require like frame 1 links where you have to hit buttons at the exact right frame, and if you're 1 frame off in either direction, you drop the combo. And then there are going to be characters that do 3-hit combos.
They're just like
that do the same or more damage.
terrible
But
for the mics.
at the end of the day, so that's maybe how I translate it, right? There are going to be these characters that are designed around combos and putting in all this work, and when it works, blows people out of the water. But you have to be so fine-tuned,
so perfect.
and then Inferno or someone like that is just like, I don't have to think. Here's all
Push
this
button.
damage. What are you gonna do about it?
Push
Do
the
you have
button.
the answers to beat this?
Yeah.
So, and you see that in the FGC too, where like a game first comes out and people are like, this character's busted, and then you figure out the answers later on. You're like, oh wait, that was a high. I can just duck it. Like, so I don't know. I mean, there's always gonna be characters that are better or easier.
I just feel like these have
guess.
gotten a little out of hand. Just a little. Like,
And that might be true. I mean, things are always going to be hard to balance. Like,
Well, especially when you're working with like a group of cards
yeah.
like that, and you have to look at like, all right, this character has 4 attacks. Like, how is it going to interact with
And
that, and how is it going to interact with this character?
this goes back to the other topic of how the DLC is going to affect the meta. In the past, it's always like you get just a big, a whole set, right? Like a real set that's like 100 to 200 cards, right? And you introduce those into the meta, and you get 3 or 4 of those a year, right? And so balancing is like, all right, we got this time, the next set comes out, we're going to use this to balance. But now you've got those 4 or so sets a year, and now you're introducing even more cards that aren't even going to rotate with that. So there are just more characters, more cards, and balancing gets harder the more you add to the pool. So I think the sad thing out of that, the too long didn't read, is we're probably going to see more of it because it's going to be harder to balance.
I definitely do not envy the balance team. Like, if it is more than just Ryan,
It's going to be harder.
From my knowledge, they've expanded playtesting.
But I expect you to be a perfect computer, Ryan. So get on your game, man.
Perfect those 1s and 0s.
I wonder if that's why we're seeing like more bans too, right? I wonder if that's part of
make things easier in the
things
future.
they're trying to balance, right?
And that was the purpose behind Shinnok and Quan Chi, was just
yeah.
make choosing things in the future easier.
Which
Big deal
sucks.
too, I guess.
I don't like bans very much, but I obviously they're necessary sometimes. But
It's a little easier for like a card game than it would be for like a fighting game,
Well,
where like they could just put a patch in to like kind of like dumb down a character.
Yeah, I mean you can do that with erratas too, but yeah, I mean like when I first started playing this game when the Soul Calibur 6 set came out, and there were like 2 cards that were banned or something. Like I feel like the ban list was like, it felt really insignificant.
Ban list
Maybe
wasn't
they were
very
good.
big.
It was
Exactly.
punishment, time, and maxi.
Well, yeah, those 2 cards got banned from
And
the
you
set.
had some Indine
Um,
stuff. You had an Indine's card, and you had Quan Chi.
But it wasn't like we're banning these ultra rares.
Yeah.
And we're banning like, 2 characters from a set, and we're banning,
4 characters and 1 ultra is a lot. So like,
yeah, it feels like bans are happening more frequently than they ever have.
Usually
But I mean,
it's
that's just what happens when you have such a huge card pool and you have so many different brains, so many different eyes just looking at interactions like differently and stuff like that, where someone's bound to catch something that you didn't think, right? Like I'm sure when they made Soul Calibur 6, they didn't think, oh, we're gonna put punishment time in Maxi and we're gonna abuse it and abuse it and abuse it, right? I don't think that anybody thought that until Jake sat down and.
a
Wow,
bunch of
these are insane.
I mean, to be fair, when I first looked at punishment time, I was like,
this card's nuts.
this guy's really, really good.
Yeah.
gives +2/+1. Yeah, ignores progressive, has weapon on.
But then
it.
how do you? Yeah, that's a hard thing. Like, how do you know it's too good and needs ban? Where like when I look at reduction, it's a very similar thought. Like I look at that card and I'm like, oh my gosh, that card's so good, right? But it's not gonna get banned, probably,
Right,
you
because
know?
at some point, like at some stages in the game, it's just like irrelevant. Like when it comes to Grey Wars, like 2/2 doesn't really matter that much. Like sure, it might be able to put you over the hump in like a certain situation, but like yeah, and when it comes to like over 10 foundations, like you giving 2 speed, I might have to commit 1 or 2 extra foundations. Like that's not a huge deal. And then like it also that card just leaves you super susceptible to reversals. That's the easiest card in the world to reversal. Like
1 for 1, my dude.
but so like with the whole like errata and banning and talk stuff like that, I think sometimes it's the best thing to do is to just shove out the product and have the product show you like what needs touched, what needs to happen, or like what brains have abused like this to the point where like everybody's starting to become that on that train.
But that kind of sucks because it's like for me,
It
like
does.
I don't play this game maybe as much as like you guys do, right? Like I like it a lot, but I try not to spend a lot of money on it. Like I'm like a pretty average card player, I feel like in that way. Like I'm not super competitive, but I want to be good at it. So for me, like, if I open up a Tiger Scream at my pre-release, I'm like, sick. Like I got this ultra rare. That's awesome. Like this is probably gonna worth some money. Like it's a really good card. And then
a month later,
it gets banned, and it's
Yeah.
like, ugh, that sucks. Like I have a copy of Shield Bit Bang that I got in my box. Like great. Glad I pulled that. I'm not gonna be
what a
buying.
sweet drink holder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
No,
so.
we're in the coronavirus time. This is a nice toilet paper.
Well, and the worst part is that some of those cards they won't even see the light of day again, right? Like they banned Maxi, and like that's a character, and like from what I've heard or seen, like it seems like they're more prone to bringing characters back.
Yeah.
And then, but like punishment time, no version of that card will ever come back until it's probably cycled. Or the same with Tiger Scream, or even why like Yusuke got the special treatment that he did, right? It's the main character from the show. It's his main attack, so we can't take it away from the meta. But only one person gets to play on the swing set. Not everybody gets to play on the swing set, and it's just silly to power creep and like errata and ban stuff that way. But
also know
sometimes
it's
it
real
just has to be done.
So then I guess the question I ask is for the people who are especially on this boat. I mean, I don't disagree, right? I think that there are things that are too free. But do you want everything to be costing more? Like,
I just like.
So I
would
think we should.
discard
I
one
think we
momentum
should.
for damage be bad for a shotgun? Means you have to work to get your shotgun to be able to do its cool thing.
You have to set up.
You have to deal damage at least once to be able to have the momentum to make your shotgun really cool.
What my fear is the burnout, right? So we have shotgun. We all agree that card is insane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the step above that? Super insane? Like
Shield Big Bang was the step above that.
right? So like that's my
shotgun
problem.
limit,
Why
but Shield
can't
Big Bang's too far?
we I'm down for a power creep because I do think it's a natural part of a card game. But why can't it be like little fucking tiny stairs, dude? Like,
Yeah. Why does it have to seem so significant? And I mean, I think that's just the problem with so many different symbols and so many different characters and like having just such a wide like variety of stuff is that it's hard to determine like in everybody's kit like what's worth like a real cost like versus like discarding. Like for Viper at the start of her turn she gets to discard and draw a card. Okay, if Skullman gets to do that twice during his turn, but like must be nice to be able to do it at the start of your turn rather than in the middle of your turn, right? Like you get to review 2 cards and like you get to see the card before you even draw it. Like, it's really hard. Card games are really hard.
I think the answer is just play the things that don't have any cost.
Play the
Like,
good things.
I mean,
play the good things.
Yeah, it's for sure. Take advantage of it. But
That's the sad
But it's just
sort of truth.
it's frustrating that like this game's supposed to be about like
Universal at this time.
I don't know if it's
UnIVersus,
supposed
but-
to be like that. But like I guess it kind of is because of diversity, right? You're supposed to be able to play any character and do well with it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never will. I mean, that's the
And-
truth of any game. Like, again, translating to fighting games, some characters just aren't going to be worth the work.
Yeah, some people
do.
just want to
But,
play
like-
Jigglypuff and Ultimate, but they probably shouldn't.
I just at that point, like, why even print the poop characters? Like,
I think because they don't always mean to. They don't always. They think, oh, we're gonna put this character out and it's gonna require all this work, but somebody's gonna figure out how to make it awesome, right?
I have this idea in my head of how to
yeah.
do it.
Cool.
Yeah. And they think, oh yeah, we'll do this character that combos off of charge stuff, and all the charge support out there. Somebody will make it really cool, right? And then it just like never quite happens. So
I know for the last few years they've been working on all of their playtestings like in-house. So, like everything has to be done in-house, and like most of the time they started playtesting just inside the set because they don't have enough time to try and playtest with every single card in the game.
Jeez.
So like because like we have a lot of cards in our game comparatively for like making things,
Yeah.
and like they don't like reprint cards from older sets like Magic. Sometimes you'll get like your reprints of staple cards. We
Yeah,
don't
they
get
have
that.
They have core sets. Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't.
Yeah, you
We
don't
won't
get
end up with
much.
that. You don't have to worry about things that are going to always be in the meta. It's just like there's a natural rotation of just like a lot of cards.
Yeah. I guess the other hope too is that you'll see with the DLC packs, maybe we'll see those things change. Like I would have never played Inferno 1, right? But Inferno 2, now
He's cool and shiny.
exactly. And so all his support that was there, that he just like wasn't on that level, but he had all that support, you just copy paste it right into Inferno
So the
2.
answer I'm hearing is they just ultra rare print every single card in the game, and everybody will play them all.
Well, and so I mean, even to get like back on like the original topic of like what's a cost and stuff like that, right? Like what is a cost, right? Like it all seems like symbol dependent. Fire wants to mill. Wants to gain advantage. Like air wants to clear and draw cards, right? And so like you also have to break down your costs into 3 symbols, and so like every single card has to fit a degree of cost for those 3 symbols.
Yeah.
And so
I think at the end of the day too, some of those costs are gonna, like, Mill 3 is always gonna be like,
it doesn't matter
I don't
the
care
game.
no
It doesn't-
matter what,
in
like
any game,
pretty much
that is amazing.
That's no big deal. Whereas
Like, even-
air, like you said, like sometimes you gotta discard cards from your card pool. Well, sometimes that's gonna be good, but sometimes it's gonna be bad. It's never gonna be good as discard 3. Like it just is that way, or like evil. Paying vitality, that's fine, but
Desperation.
right,
Hey.
yeah, but like,
And you only have
can
so much
always look
vitality
at,
to
you
pay.
can always look at pay 2 and like, well, if I could have just milled 3 to do that,
Yeah.
that would have been kind of nice,
Yeah.
So maybe part of
Other
this,
things run out comparatively to deck
what
things.
I think part of maybe what kicks this whole conversation up is that particular cost is particularly strong, right? So any card that has that is just like, that's always kind of an unfair cost. So maybe that's
Right, like it's
maybe the one we're talking about more than
Like
anything.
the
it is truly free. Milling cards is truly
Super
free.
free. It's game knowledge. It gives you like deck knowledge, what's in your decks.
And obviously there are things that are literally free, right? That just say enhance, do this thing.
Yeah.
That's like
Enhance
literally
plus
free.
1/+1,
And those are always
stuff
going to
like
be
that.
super good. But
enhance, this gets plus X damage equal to the symbols that match your character. Card pool.
yeah.
well, what? Oh, jeez. Alternatively, like, why couldn't like? I've been trying to think about this for a while. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me brainstorm. Inferno's Mill 3 enhance. Don't change the cost. Change the effect. How do we balance that effect? Because I think the control is too insane.
I think it should have been difficult.
Can it be like?
It
can
should
be
have been. It
difficulty?
should have been difficulty. You should have had
Okay.
to remove attacks.
Okay.
and then you remove foundations because you don't want to remove your attacks yet. This is a little poke attack. I'll remove a foundation to give like 2 damage.
I'm down.
I'll remove foundation to give this 1 more damage.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, like,
I'm
why?
swinging this turn. I don't need these other attacks. 5 damage. Then when they go in and they remove a 5 damage one, you're like, I have to make sure I live this turn. They're going in.
Right.
I don't know. I think at that point you just might as well just enhance, remove the top card of your deck, and gain the control.
It's random. It's even. It's cool.
But then
It doesn't
starts-
have-
but then I hear that and I'm like, but now I don't even want to play the deck anymore.
No,
Would you do it if it
like,
was just like
exactly.
remove 1 card and it was difficulty? Would you play it if it was difficulty?
I don't know, man.
Because like control's nuts. Control's nuts.
I know, but that's the point. That's why I built the deck.
right,
Like,
and-
you know
no,
what I mean?
exactly,
Like,
exactly.
this looks
you're
like it's gonna
using-
be nuts. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this. You
and
know,
you're using the tools that are available to you.
exactly. So, I don't know.
A cost used to be discard momentum or discard 1 card. Those were like the best basic costs. You discard momentum to do a cool thing. You discard a card to do a cool thing. Do you know?
Yeah,
do you
or
know-
you commit
you know how
something, or
fair-
you flip something. Like
know-
those, everybody kind of agrees are like fair things. Commit
I don't know
one
if
or-
flipping is
Flipping is not
commit's
fair.
okay. Commit's okay. Flipping is not really a cost.
Like flip. You
Flip
have a
is
limit.
absolutely a cost.
You have a limit, but I mean, like, for evil, for example, like Fallen Angels, I'll flip that card all day. Right.
Did I have to build
Or-
a syndicate target? I'll flip it.
But then
Or-
you look
yeah.
at the cost as you only get to do this once.
You go, yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
but you only
right.
need it. You only need to
Like
do it
this.
once.
You only get to do
Well-
it X amount of times, and I definitely understand like where you're coming from that, but I mean at the same time, like you can only mill so many times before you deck out, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean like that's why the costs are really like easy to compare, especially in a game where like you have to build like a good grip of resources, and like not every resource has an effect that flips itself.
Plus, do you know how fair and balanced Nutcracker would be if it was discard 1 card, put a card in, draw a card? So you just replace 1 card and then put a
That
card
card
stuff
would
in?
still be insane.
Yeah. That card would be nice, fair, and balanced. You don't auto just gain +1 hand size and like fuel your character. You fuel your character
down.
and like
What are we-
shuffle a card.
What are we talking about?
Like discarding a card. Because discarding a card's a real cost.
I know, but to discard one, to build one into your card pool, and
To
then
draw
to
a
draw a card,
So
there's literally no cost there.
What?
Yeah,
I know.
there's no
Then-
cost to just adding a drawing.
In that
That's just straight
situation,
Here,
in that
let
situation,
me
yes.
let me cycle this sense of morals and build it into my
Yeah.
card pool.
I think
No,
that's
you drew
way
that.
more
You drew that
balanced.
sense of morals. Build it or hold it for a fake block.
I
dude.
think it's
Like,
way more
deal
balanced
with
than
it.
just +1 stuff a card.
No. See, I don't know.
I just think
I'm on this train
Everything's too
of
So here's the only other thing I really want to say in this whole conversation is there anything we can do about it? Like what
we can't do shit.
exactly? So it's like kind of
Fam,
like
I know you're
well,
watching.
the
you
one
know,
thing.
it's a
opinion.
good conversation.
The one thing you can do about it is to abuse it and hope that the right people see it and also think that it's an issue, right? Like, and that's the thing, and like that's what was seen with Spirit Gun. It was a negative player experience, right? And I mean, sure, it sucks to like mill 3 and like he hits a 6 check, or he already has a 6 check and he removes it and gets 6 damage. Like, sure, that really sucks, but like, is it really a negative experience? Is that really as bad as it was? For example, for when
I don't know.
everybody
It
was
could
playing,
be, right?
But
Like-
whenever every death deck was playing Spirit Gun and Toguro Brothers, and literally there's no such thing as an answer. Like there's cards that like stop like damage buffs or like decrease damage and stuff like that. So I mean, like, yeah, we're talking about like how mill 3 like isn't a cost, but I mean like. At least he has to give something up, right? He removes a potential resource later, and he discards 3 resources.
Right. I think I
right?
think Spirit Gun
Like-
is a good addition to this conversation because it was literally didn't
Free.
it just say destroy one
It
foundation?
says destroy one foundation,
Period.
and if you're Yusuke, change the zone to any zone.
Yeah. So it's like that was a good example of like it was overtuned, people abused it, it got banned, right?
Yeah.
So
I think Yusuke is the perfect example of character with no cost. If you like want to just do nothing but benefit, you'd play Yusuke.
Oh, just free play, free damage.
Yeah.
Another problem I have, and I don't think I've met anybody that does this, but I'm sure there's somebody. They play their favorite character no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay? What happens when your favorite character is like worse than trash, dude? Like
People
Like- You're
Dude,
just gonna
trust
get a
me.
new favorite character? You can't do
People-
that. You have your favorite character.
No, people will play the game just to play the game. See,
Yeah.
So like, the difference. So now this conversation's turning into competitive UFS versus like kitchen tabletop UFS, right? So, for example, when me and you got introduced into the game way back when by Miles or Phil, and we sat in your living room playing with the Hazashi decks or whatever that samurai was, right? Like once we picked up the game and everything, like it was a pretty good time and everything, right? Like we weren't racking our brains, but like we were still having a good time, and we're playing the same exact deck or whatever. But if I a couple months later walked in with a competitive like Phil's K momentum control deck, right? Like you'd hate the game, right? You wouldn't like it. But I mean, there's just so many like small communities like spread out across this beautiful country to where like me and Josh, this week we picked 2 random Soul Calibur characters, and we're just gonna play on our kitchen table and do whatever. Sure, we don't have access to a bunch of cards, and like a bunch of our decks might look the same, but like we're still having fun. That's just the being in the competitive spotlight versus just like I like this game to just like play this game. And that's the same like super off topic, but like speed dueling and duel links and stuff like that for Yu-Gi-Oh players, right? Like it has no effect on the competitive meta or anything like that, but like people just love to play the game, and so like that's why people play characters like that. Like that's why people still try and play random Street Fighter characters.
University, I'm the captain of the meme squad.
Again, that's why I'm always gonna have my Amy deck, because Amy's my girl, right?
I have Amy right now too.
And so it's always gonna be that way. That's always gonna be the deck that I put the most time in, that I care about, that I'm gonna tweak a million times to try to get it as good as possible. And again, it goes back, like Amy has to put in all this work, has to build all these characters, has to do all these things, but then sometimes I'm just gonna take out that Inferno and
Bops and
not
bash
even
my
think,
head against the wall.
And that's, I mean, that's the answer, right? And I think again, like you were saying, like casual versus competitive, I mean that's the way it's gonna be. Casual players are gonna
play with what
But
they
I
got.
want to be competitive with my DJ deck.
That's
like, come on.
It's
Why can't I
unrealistic.
be?
It's
Like,
unrealistic.
Hey,
I'm gonna be the voice of truth here, and come down hard, because again, coming from fighting
I'm about to
games,
fuck this kid up with my DJ.
like
Oh, you're gonna cheat
like
again.
when
I shouldn't have said DJ. That was just the first thing I could think of.
like coming from fighting games, sometimes your favorite character is gonna be the worst character in the game, and if you want to put in the work to make them even close to
That's-
viable,
Gotta become a
That's the real
Max.
answer. Put in the work.
Yeah. Like,
You'll figure it out. You'll fucking you'll,
some
you'll
characters
learn
are-
that matchup,
some
and you're
ca-
like,
some characters are still gonna be unviable no matter how much work you put into them.
no.
But-
give him hope. Give him
but-
hope, Josh.
I put a lot
I
of work
mean,
into a lot of
hopefully the
characters.
balancing team can see that and give them support to make them better.
Yeah,
But
don't put Sea Viper only on.
but at the end of the
Blanca
day, I mean,
needed
that's I don't know. That's the truth of it, is that sometimes you're gonna have to put in more work if you want your your favorite character who
Yeah.
isn't the best.
yeah.
to do well.
I mean, my true love in this game is Tornaloose. I absolutely adore that
It's not
deck.
Jim
But
Man.
huge shout outs to Dave Wagner for his list and everything. And I looked at it, and it looked really nice, and I thought it was a really great mix with the Suzaku support. I thought he had like the perfect ratios and stuff like that. But man, I think that deck is complete ass without Netherstorm, and I don't think you can win a single game without Netherstorm. So now I'm playing my favorite character, and I have to rely on one attack just to have a good time, right? Like, nah, it sucks, dude. Let's play some Tengu Dive.
Hey, but at
meme
least
in
you,
my Torn
but
deck.
hey, but the positive is that at least you get to play your character, even if
Right.
your character
No,
relies
right.
on this. Your character is
Build two
viable,
decks.
right?
Build your fun meme deck. Build your competitive deck. Like you have a certain play style you play when you play competitive. You have a certain play style when you play with friends.
Yeah, but why can't I just play memes all the time?
Because memes aren't always good. That means
Hey,
that's
dude,
why
we
they're
need-
memes.
Hey,
What we're saying
I've
is
been
we
close
need
to
this-
topping a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh regionals with meme decks.
We need
On
this
the bubble.
utopian world.
I'm always
okay?
on the
We
bubble.
need
Well,
we
Captain
need
of the
this
meme.
I'd
utopian.
shake your hand, but
You know,
I saw you touch your face earlier.
I've touched my face a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It would
Stop that.
be magical if you could, if every single character had an equal chance at winning, getting first place in every single tournament.
Yeah.
But
It's just not true.
It's not true, and it never will be.
I know for a fact that Splash Women won't win the PTC.
That's the world. That's the world in my dreams, guys.
Yeah, no.
There was a time. There was a time.
You're just standing on top of literally everybody with like an M Bison in your hand. Tyler standing on top of everybody with the Blanca. Yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
It's really hard to determine like a true cost. I'll just wrap it up really quick. Like what I was saying, just like each symbol has an ideal cost of what they want to do. You know, Earth wants to flip either side. You know, Void wants to discard cards from either side to do a thing. It's hard to balance a lot of costs, and some costs are just easier to do than others.
Like I said, I don't think it always has to be the cost, right? It doesn't. Maybe the effect is half as insane.
Yeah,
But it doesn't matter. But
Anything from you?
I'm gonna end it with play the thing that's broken.
Solid.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
spend more money and get the broken thing.
Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out all of our other content. And as always, stay alert.
Ben learned.
Abuse it before you lose it.
Did I skip one?
Nope.
Have a great day, everybody.
Keep that in,
Goodbye.
Tyler.